Facebook gaming, the concurrent viewers are going down, y'all. And people are complaining about how they're not getting as much traction on Facebook gaming as they used to. So has this opportunity dried up? Is it already gone? This thing just got started. You might have just jumped in there and you started streaming some mobile games. You're like, oh my God, this is my big career opportunity. Where did the viewers go? Well, don't panic yet. We're gonna show you the numbers and we're gonna tell you from experience. We've got Andrew Perrin on board that's gotten over 1 million views on Facebook gaming without paying any money for them. He's gonna help you understand whether the opportunity is still there in 2020 and beyond to grow on Facebook gaming, which games you should play, and most importantly, will you make enough money streaming on Facebook gaming to go full time? You know that's right, let's go. This podcast is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io?
Can you stream on Facebook gaming? Can you still be successful? Is this just a fad? Is this something that's actually going to work out for you? Right now, the answer is simply it works. It works right now. Will it continue to work? I'm not sure. We're going to have to we'll take a look at the numbers here. But even though when we covered in our episode yesterday, the average CCV of Facebook has dropped, very minor drop by 10,000 concurrent viewers in a quarter. That's 3 months. That's not too bad. So it's not doom and gloom, but it is a sign that things are going to become more competitive. Now, as things get more competitive, is there still growth to be had? Hell yeah, there is. Let me show you my numbers real quick. In a very short amount of time on my channel, since I'm showing this from July to this month, October. This is not a very long streaming career. I actually was starting a little bit sooner than July, but streaming a nothing game where I got no traction. I started streaming Mobile Legends at about this time in July, and you can see the increase down here from 0 to where I'm at now, and the chart is all over the place. But the key thing I want you all to look at is net follows, 13,000, views, 1.2 million. Is there growth to be had here? Of course there is. Do I have loyal, dedicated followers for my brand now? Of course I do. I've got lots of them. And I got them primarily from Facebook gaming. Most of my growth occurs here because Facebook gaming has organic. And we throw around this term all the time. For those of you who are new here, organic is just a marketing term that means natural growth. It just means natural audience growth. You're not advertising for it. You don't have to pay money or do any of the thing for it. Just by making content and posting it, you get growth. That's organic, okay? And it's very rare in today's landscape of the internet for social media, for streaming sites, etc., to have organic growth. Why was Instagram big for a while? Because it had organic and everyone wanted that. Everybody wants organic because it's effortless. You just make the content and the audience comes to you instead of you making the content and having to figure out where to get the audience from. That's a lot more work than just making it and having people come to it, okay? Right now, Facebook gaming has that. Is it gonna stay though? That's the question I wanna answer today. What do we think? What are our predictions going to be? This is going to be a bit speculative. So looking at my numbers, so far so good, but it's all over the place. I actually peaked and have gone down from July here. I hit a huge high, and this is when I was trying out different games, and I hit Mobile Legends, and I hit a nice high. And from there, it's been a nice gradual decline back down, right? So it's been a nice slide. Now, I have healthy concurrent viewership numbers, and my channel is still growing, but my peaks of concurrents are less. Facebook's algorithm makes this challenging, okay? Guys, do you have... Well, first, before I continue, I want to know predictions here. What's good? Like, hey, well, let's start with you. What... Is this going to be a long-term thing? Should we really stick with Facebook gaming long-term?
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to get growth from this long-term? Or is it gonna like fizzle out? Is Twitch going to just eat it up like it does everything else?
I don't think that Twitch is going to eat it up. I think that Facebook gaming, with the amount of traction that they are giving Facebook gaming streams, the numbers showed us in the most recent report, it was hockey sticking and then it stopped and then it kind of went down. So what it shows us is this is, and I'll pull it up on the screen right now, this is the maximum amount of traction that Facebook, that Facebook is willing to give streams on Facebook right now. And so the question is, will they open the algorithm up more and provide more viewership to Facebook gaming moving forward? We have reached the peak of how much the algo will push this, essentially. And so if this is as far as they're willing to push it, what you see on the screen right now, which is only 379,000 concurrent viewers on their platform, then this platform is going to be much smaller than YouTube, and it's going to be much smaller than Twitch moving forward, and it's only going to be a niche platform. And the platform is going to continue to fill up with bodies. It's up to 267,000 bodies right now, 267,000 channels. But there's going to end up being more channels than there are concurrent viewers at any given point. That's the point when Facebook essentially dies. And so what are we looking at in the future? Should you continue to stream on Facebook? By the numbers, Facebook is still the best platform to stream on. It's still the one where you can stream and just get freaking viewership like magic if you're willing to play one of the top 10 games on Facebook. You can't get magical views on YouTube. You can't get magical views on Twitch. So it still is providing the best growth opportunity out there. So should you stream there? It's still the best platform, hands down, by far, that to stream on. However, the growth opportunity isn't as good today as it used to be, and it's probably going to continue to decline. So what we talked about in the last episode, I think, was really important. When things like COVID-19 happen, or any other major event, it doesn't have to be a pandemic. If you stay in the game, and if you stay streaming on these platforms and you continue to upload content, you're going to put yourself in a position for success for the future. And so that's what you need to do with Facebook gaming. And you need to be streaming on Facebook gaming and YouTube and Twitch simultaneously, because these platforms will go up, they'll decline a little bit, and then there's going to be yet another mega spike in the future. And if any other platforms emerge as being major competitors, such as DLive and Trovo, you should be restreaming there too, and we're restreaming there. Okay, so is Facebook gaming still good? Yes, you should stream there. But I don't think anyone should exclusively stream on Facebook gaming today. It's too risky of an opportunity. Seeing the concurrent viewership, let me pull it up one more time. Seeing the concurrent viewership decline like this, I don't know why it's doing that. Seeing the concurrent viewership decline like this, is it going to keep going down? If it does, then, and you decided to only go exclusively on Facebook gaming, you're on a sinking ship. You're on a ship that is relatively small and is going to just stay small and maybe decrease from here. It might take Facebook 3 months, 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years to decide to turn the algorithm up. Their decision as to whether they're going to turn the algorithm up and get more concurrent viewers on the platform is going to be largely determined by how much money Zuckerberg is putting in his pocket by having Facebook gaming up and running. And my guess is that they aren't making much money because the platform is full of international viewers of countries that don't have a lot of currency that translates well to US dollars, which is the currency that Facebook cares about the most. Ross, what is your take on this? Do you think the future is bright for Facebook gaming, or is it this big question mark now?
It honestly, it's going to come down to how Facebook handles this dip and if it's going to continue to dip. I think it's fair to expect that this is going to continue a small downtrend, kind of like what we're seeing here. You know, we've seen this. We've seen this across the board with COVID, a huge spike. You've seen it right there on the chart of people watching. So it's going to depend on how they answer to it. It's going to depend on how they utilize Facebook gaming, like bringing in esports, bringing in other things to attract people to Facebook gaming that normally don't go there. But the thing that worries me the most, and Perrin, I want to get both your opinions on this. Walt, you said the 3 words, limited game selection. And Perrin, you said before July, you were streaming a game that got no traction. So if you're going to stream on Facebook gaming, are you limited in the games that you can choose that will actually grow you? And let's say, for example, another question, a part 2 of this, if you're using Restream, how do you find a happy medium restreaming when choosing a game that will work on Facebook gaming, but can also potentially grow you on YouTube, Twitch, Trovo, any other platform?
Yeah, I get this question a lot when I'm streaming, and it's what game should I stream? What game should I stream to be successful on Facebook gaming? And I ask them a bunch of questions. You normally like what type of games they like to play, etc. But none of that actually matters. What matters? I'm gonna highlight them right now. Boom, boom. So I'm highlighting for those of you who are just listening. PlayerUnknown's Battleground PUBG Mobile Free Fire, Mobile Legends. Oh my God, they're all mobile games, right? Grand Theft Auto, questionable. You got to know how to mod that game really, really well. But if you do, that's an option for you. That's probably one of the only PC ones. There you go. There's your top ones right there. We're only missing, let's see, we're missing like one here. Where is it? Let's see. We're looking for Call of Duty Mobile, and that's probably about it. Actually, I don't even see it on the top of the list anymore, so maybe it's no longer a thing.
Hey, really quick.
The mobile game.
I want to reply to Bytes. This is not pre-recorded.
Okay.
Boom. Proof it's not pre-recorded. Please continue.
Oh yeah, here it is. I just missed it. It was right on the bottom of the list. Call of Duty Mobile. There's 4 titles here that I normally recommend, and it's PUBG Mobile, it's Mobile Legends, it's Garena Free Fire, and Call of Duty Mobile. It's the mobile games that have growth. This is an issue because if you're a gaming creator or you're a live streamer or whatever, you probably have specific games that you want to cover. Maybe you want to be a variety streamer. Maybe you want to cover all the new AAA titles as they come out. Maybe you're going to be on the PS5 and you're going to hit those titles. Is that going to work on Facebook gaming? Probably not very well, unless you're already a medium-sized creator and you can drive an audience to this platform. If you're trying to grow from nothing or from a small size, like playing whatever game you want is not going to work here. It's not. The formula is very specific and the growth is very specific. And you have to find titles that have lots of demand, but little supply. We talk about this supply demand all the time. So what does that mean? That means lots of viewers and not so many people trying to stream it, right? And if you can find those, you can find growth. So there may be games more so than just these mobile ones, but I know the mobile ones have growth because we've tested them specifically. There could be other titles here that could work by having a good supply-demand ratio, but it's unlikely, especially if they're not a mobile game. Why mobile games? Because Facebook is going international with Facebook gaming, and most international viewers are watching from their phones, which means they can't play or they don't even care about PC games. PC games are a niche on Facebook gaming that not many people care about internationally. They care about games that they can play, and the only games they can play are on phones. So that is the niche that Facebook gaming is carving out. And if you're not participating in that, you're missing out on where all of the growth is on the platform. So yeah, you might have some traction and some luck in some other areas if you can find the right supply-demand ratio. But if you're not streaming these specific titles, you're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a really hard time growing, and it's going to be really, really slow. And you're going to be missing a lot of what we're talking about when we talk about Facebook gaming's got organic and explosive growth, blah, blah, blah. You're missing that if you're streaming these other games. How do I know this? Because I tried to stream a Nothing Burger game, Star Citizen. No one really knows about this game. It's not very big. It's not even out of alpha yet. And I saw maybe 1 follower growth like every other week or something like that. And I was actually getting like tiny small growth, but it was so slow and so infinitesimal that like I was never going to be big streaming it on Facebook gaming. And honestly, I was doing myself a disservice because I wasn't going where the growth is on the platform.
That makes sense.
You have to go where the growth is. I'll finish here. You have to go where the growth is on the platform because time is running out. This organic will not be here forever. We talk about this a good bit, and we see this on every single big internet phenomenon platform that comes out. Instagram had organic, now it doesn't. Twitch once had organic, now it doesn't. Right? All these platforms, even Twitter had organic at some point. Now it doesn't. Eventually, the organic dries up, which means the opportunity is finite. So you need to get what it's worth while you can. And if you're doing a game that has no traction on the platform, then you're just wasting your time, in my opinion. All right, sorry. Go ahead, AWOL. That was a huge rant.
No, I mean, I like that rant. That was good. And one thing I'd say is, okay, so with the games you're covering on there, you can also filter within the game section. You can filter by English US, which is something you should do if you're in the United States. And you should filter by whatever language you're covering. But English US is probably the best filter. And if you're wondering which games, Ross asked a moment ago, how do you know which games to cover across multiple platforms if you're restreaming, for example? And we've done, the research method is really simple. you're going to go ahead and take a look at the eligible games on Facebook Gaming first. You have to select one that's in the top 10 or top 15 at the very least on Facebook Gaming first, because that's your #1 growth opportunity. And out of those top 15 games, you're then going to look at Twitch and you're going to look at YouTube Gaming. And you're going to see, are any of those games, do they have lots of viewership on the other platforms too? Or do they have some amount of viewership, but a very low amount of competition on the other platforms as well? And only a few games are like that have crossover. So for example, PUBG Mobile, not that big on Twitch, for example, but it's pretty big on YouTube Gaming. Free Fire, not that big on Twitch, but it's very big on YouTube Gaming. Mobile Legends, the same thing is the case there. It's not very big on Twitch, but it's big on YouTube Gaming. But GTA 5, as an example, or Call of Duty Warzone are big across all 3 platforms. And so you need to potentially look at titles that are going to be big across all of the platforms if you want to maximize your growth across all 3, and then transfer your audience across all 3. And why would you want to transfer your audience? Perrin has talked about this before, but if you gain an audience on Facebook Gaming, it's likely that that audience isn't going to be worth as much money to you, aka they aren't going to have as much money, they aren't going to donate as much money as they would if they were on other platforms such as Twitch. And so, Perrin, I'd like you to speak to the financial component of this, because everybody ultimately here is looking to, do streaming for a living. And I've streamed on Facebook Gaming for a bit. I've got a bunch of followers off of it, tons of views, whatever. And at the end of the day, I made almost no money off of it, except for the people that were in North America. My North American viewers gave me stars. All my viewers internationally from the Philippines and other countries, they didn't give me anything. And if they did, they gave me like 10 stars, which is like 1 penny in US dollars, which is nothing. And so that's not insulting those countries. It's just a matter of currency conversion. And anybody who's outside of Australia, the UK, US, Canada, and they donate money to you or they try to give you stars, they just literally don't have enough money to give you as a US streamer, a Canadian streamer, a UK streamer, an Australian streamer, somebody in a first world English speaking country, enough money to even begin to help you pay for your bills. And so that's why transferring audiences over to platforms like Twitch or even YouTube can help you get the viewers, get the whales, get the people that actually have money to donate it to you, to support you through subs and what have you. I mean, isn't that where you've made the majority of your money, Perrin? Is not actually on Facebook Gaming, but actually transferring those viewers over to other platforms, right?
Actually, that's not right. I've made the majority of my money from Facebook Gaming, but I've also made it a majority, I'd say 90% of it from like 5 people. And all those 5 people are not from the target demographic of the game I'm streaming. They're North American, and they're whales essentially. Like they donate often, they donate frequently. They're very dedicated viewers, and normally they donate or they subscribe multiple platforms for me because they want to show their support, and I'm multi-streaming. So a common example is I'll have one very dedicated fan. They'll throw me a lot of stars on Facebook, which is I get the most. I would say I would get 60 to 70% of my monthly revenue from stars, actually. In most cases, some months are better than others. It can vary wildly. Stars are like really volatile. They're as volatile as the viewers you get on the platform. But I transfer them over to Twitch as well, where they subscribe, and they're more likely to subscribe on Twitch than Facebook. By the way, we did an episode of this in the podcast on why that is the case as well. You guys should all check that out. So I get most of it from stars, but they also tend to subscribe on Twitch. And I get, I would say, a good 20 to 35% of my revenue from Twitch subs. Now, most people aren't going to be in a situation where they can do both. They're not going to be able to multi-stream both because you're going to be locked into a contract where you can't multi-stream if you do affiliate on Twitch. So you won't be in that scenario to be able to do that. So I'm lucky in that way for now anyway. But the moral of the story is transfer your audience to other platforms where they might be more willing to financially support you if you have that option there. On Facebook, they're very unlikely to subscribe. There's not really much value there. And you can try to provide more value, but I find that it's not likely. This is all an issue because I'm streaming a mobile game to an international audience, to the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, primarily the audience of Mobile Legends, and they just don't have as much money, and their currency isn't as powerful as the US dollar. And so it's very rare that I'm getting money from them. Also, they tend to be a much younger demographic. They don't even have money yet. Like they're still in school. So it's kind of nice because I have a younger demographic audience, which I've wanted to get outside of my age demographic as viewership. I've wanted to appeal to a younger audience and build up that viewership, but they have less money. And so you have to know that going in. So long story short, can you support yourself by streaming to Facebook gaming? I'm going to say at this level, and look at my numbers, where are you compared to this? I don't make enough to support myself. Definitely not even close. I would be able to cover my mortgage and maybe some bills, but I wouldn't be able to feed myself. And it's hugely variable. Like I might be able to do it 1 month and I probably won't be able to do it the second month. And it's definitely not sustainable. And I'm sitting at 1.2 million views after a couple of months, and I'm 13.4K net followers in this past couple of months. I have an average concurrence that range from 50 to 200. That's not enough. That's not enough to make a living off of. You're going to definitely
You'll need to be
have
up to
at least a part-time
500.
job.
500. Need to be up to like 500 to 1,000 on average to be able to make a living for you.
I think, yeah, I think for me and my cost of living, which my cost of living is pretty low. I don't live in a city, so it's not too bad for me to sustain a living. I would need to at least double what I currently have. I need to at least build double the audience, double concurrent viewership, and once I do that, then I might be able to do it, but it would still be questionable month by month. So compare what you have currently, where you want to be, and understand that even where I'm at, what I'm showing you with my numbers, that's not enough to sustain yourself. You have to do a lot more work. And I would say then it would take at least a year still, even with Facebook Gaming's organic growth. I think it would be smart to say it would take at least a year still of growth, going after the organic, going after the big growth of the mobile games, of streaming successfully to sustain a living off of it. That would be my prediction, which 1 year is actually really, really good in this business, by the way. 1 year is absolutely amazing. That's way better than 5 years.
Oh my God, is it?
So it's still really, really good. That's if you're doing like the most optimum strategy and you're going specifically after it, which means you can't play the games that you want to play. You got to play the games that are going to pay the bills and going to get you growth, right? And you got to do that for a year. So is that the kind of creator you want to be? I don't know. Ross, let me ask you a question, Ross.
Okay, go ahead, Ross. Go ahead.
If you had a choice between, hey, I can make a living full-time being a creator, but I got to stream a game that I don't really want to play, but it's going to be successful, or I could do it in 5 years, but I can stream whatever game I want to play and I'm passionate about. Which would you pick?
Personally, I'm a person that gets burnt out very easily, so I'm going to actually take the longer route. But if I were to take the shorter route, I would completely change my approach. I wouldn't even make it about gaming. If I'm going to be forced to play something that I don't enjoy, then it's got to be completely personality based, and I would put all my focus just on improving my personality to draw in an audience. But I actually had a quick question for you both. I want to get your opinions on this. Obviously, larger international audiences typically means a lower amount of tips, a lower amount of money you're going to make. But number one, is there any indication of what Facebook Gaming is doing to actually improve monetization for the creators? Have they announced anything, or is this just kind of going to be status quo, you think?
No, they definitely have done some things. They've made it so that this whole entire next year, they don't take a cut from subscription revenue, right? So
which is
Facebook,
low though, Perrin. I mean, subscription revenue, you've been talking about how difficult it is to even get one fan sub. It's like almost impossible. So that's good that they're taking no revenue, but we need to preface that with the giant asterisk of that shit doesn't work. Like people don't click the button.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it from a scaling perspective, right? We're looking at it from a perspective of a small size creator, but for medium sized creators and large creators, they are getting money from subs, and this gives them a lot more money. So Facebook basically directly investing into their medium sized and large creators with that move. Great. And then they added stars milestones. So if you are able to hit, you get 3 per, I don't know what the time period is. I still haven't had mine refresh, but technically it's supposed to be 3 per month. You can hit milestones and Facebook will pay you bonus stars up to a total, I think, of $75 a month. It's still testing, so I'm not sure. of stars that they'll give you just for hitting milestones. And this assumes that you can get enough stars to hit the milestones.
That's pretty cool.
And some of them are larger, but they're not like totally unachievable. I did mine in the first month of having it. So, in fact, having the feature and talking about it allowed me to actually get more stars. So it was nice, and it's probably the coolest feature that they've added. It hasn't rolled out to everybody yet. I was one of the few testers, I guess, for it. It turns out I didn't really know that it wasn't rolled out to everybody, but it was a limited rollout. I hope they continue with it. So that's another feature. They are looking at extra monetization things and ways that will actually help creators, successfully use stars and for subscriptions and stuff like that. So they're doing more than other platforms are, I would say.
That makes sense. I want to talk about the monetization comments we're seeing here in chat. There's a couple. Jacob is saying Stone Mountain 64 has 15K subs and over 75K a month. That's great. Stone Mountain 64 already has a multi-million subscriber North American audience on YouTube that he transferred over to Facebook Gaming, and that he continues to transfer over to Facebook Gaming. And also, Stone Mountain 64, whenever he live streams, he's the #1 streamer on Facebook Gaming. So he gets all of the suggested juice from the entire platform whenever he streams. So that does obviously make a big difference. He already had a massive North American audience to make money from in terms of subs. So he does prove that people will give money on Facebook for subscriptions, but he already had the North American audience. And the thing is, it's difficult to capture a new North American, Canadian, Australian, UK audience on Facebook Gaming. You can do it, it's just slower. It's much easier to capture those sorts of audiences on YouTube, for example. And another comment here from BitWars Mercenary was, does Patreon make sense to capture revenue across multiple platforms, especially international audiences? And so really quick, before I just want to make it a little simple for everybody. Everybody's thinking about money. Don't go straight to what are the ways I can make money? Think first about, okay, how much money do you need per month in order to go full-time as a creator? You need to add up all your bills. You need to look at the minimum. You need to talk to your girlfriend, your wife, or your roommate or whatever and figure out what that dollar amount is. That's the first thing you should know before you even think about making money on any platform. And let's say that dollar amount is something relatively reasonable, like $3,000 to $4,000 US per month. Cool. Now you know what goal you need to hit. All right. And so with that goal in mind, and after you've already been streaming, for example, on something like Facebook Gaming for a bit, and you already kind of see what your baseline revenue is, you're going to realize how many new revenue streams you're going to need to open in order to pay your bills, right? I recommend having at least 3 to 4 primary revenue streams for those of you that want to stream on Facebook Gaming and want to make a living. 4 revenue streams, one of those being Facebook Gaming. And so you need to open up at least 3 other revenue streams, 2 to 3 other revenue streams that are consistent other than Facebook Gaming in order to make this thing happen. Obviously, AdSense revenue from YouTube is a no-brainer. You can take clips and tutorial videos and what have you that you do on Facebook Gaming and then upload those to YouTube and make money. And then my #1 recommended one after that, after YouTube, is Patreon. Absolutely, it's Patreon. And Peter Hollins is one of the clients that Andrew Perrin works with, and somebody actually I have a call with here in just a moment. He's the biggest, he has the biggest account on Patreon. He's one of the advisors of the company. And the thing that helped him go full-time as a creator and pull the trigger on that was that he had consistent month-over-month revenue that he could count on to pay his bills because of Patreon. So Perrin just talked a moment ago about how variable all the tips are, how variable all the viewership is. All of that stuff can change over time based on the algorithms and the day and how good your thumbnail and your title are. But if you have that consistent month-over-month revenue on Patreon to pay your bills, it can have a huge impact. And this is one of the things I talk with people about on my one-on-one coaching. Perrin, do you mind pulling that up on the website really quick? This is the type of planning you need to do if you want to take this thing seriously. You need to plan out your finances. You need to plan out your revenue strategy, and you need to plan out your business strategy. So if you guys want me to work with you one-on-one, this is a service I offer. Just go to this website, awalldigital.com, AWALL digital.com. Just click the schedule button, or you can scroll down and book me for one-on-one coaching, and I can help you map all these items out. I've helped multiple creators go full-time. One of them quit their job as a teacher recently. He's now full-time, and he's making 6-figure revenue. And others, it takes them a couple years. Some of them, it takes them 6 months. It depends. but you have to plan all of this out ahead of time. And the business elements of this and the strategy elements of this is something that I've been specializing in for a bit. So Ross, you had something that was on your mind you wanted to say a moment ago. What is on your mind?
That I actually already asked what was on my mind, but we do have somebody in chat who has somebody else in their mind. I got a quick question for you, Perrin. They're from Malaysia. For those who are a console gamer and playing non-competitive games, is Facebook gaming the best for them? And also, side note, in their country, most streamers are on Facebook gaming, as you know.
I think for international areas, especially for the Eastern Asian countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, etc., Facebook gaming is like your streaming platform. I've seen there's such a huge audience over there for you. I think if you're looking to stream even non-competitive games, I would love to see you experiment with that on Facebook gaming. I would also, if you can, try multi-streaming. Like we recommend this all the time. Don't go all in on one platform. I don't know in Malaysia if you have any other options though. I mean, I still think you could try Twitch. I still think you could try Trovo, DLive, etc. There's a couple other ones out there. I mean, experiment around, especially if you're new to the space. See what traction you can get. You can do your testing so much more quickly if you multi-stream though, because you gather data with one stream from like 5 to however many platforms you want. So then you're testing the waters instead of testing the waters on Facebook gaming. Let's say you test the waters on Facebook gaming for like a month and doesn't work out. Well, you could also have been testing it on Twitch and DLive and Trovo and YouTube, and maybe on one of those other platforms it does, and then you just follow the growth. So is Facebook gaming good for you in Malaysia for non-competitive games? I'm not sure. You're going to have to test, right? So multi-stream, test all the platforms, and then let us know back here on the podcast what your results are, because I would love to know from the perspective in Malaysia from one of those territories how it works out for you.
Ooh, good answer. Final question. Then I want to finish. We can wrap this up, and I want to get your guys' finals opinion on this. But, Perrin, would you say that Facebook gaming should be used as the catalyst to build your brand so you can make money off other means like merchandise, sponsorship, and other platforms? Well, you kind of hit on this earlier.
Yeah, I think funneling. I'll answer very quickly, and I'll let you finish this. But
okay.
Just overall, you should be releasing content on whichever platforms will give you free audience growth and traction. That's the strategy you should always take, whether we're talking about Facebook gaming today or we're talking about Poop Butt, the platform that comes out 5 years from now. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. These corporations are going to rise. They're going to fall. They're going to get acquired by other companies. They're going to change. All of that crap doesn't matter to you, audience. What matters to you is where the free viewership growth is for you to get today, so that you can gain true fans that will follow you on whatever platform you're going to be on in the future. Facebook gaming happens to be that this minute, but next year it might not be. And so you need to go where the free audience growth is, and then take that audience and then make money off of them and make them into true fans, and then have them be people that'll follow you no matter where you go. For example, TikTok was that a year ago, and it still is today. Free audience growth on TikTok. You can release a video of you filming your shoe and get 100 views on TikTok right now. With no, and Instagram was that way 4 years ago, 5 years ago. You could just release any photo of yourself, just a selfie with duck face, and you got like 100 likes. So just no matter what, go where the free traction is, go where the free audience building is, and then you can build a business around that. Once you have the eyeballs, then you can build a business around that. Just the overarching way to think about that. But Perrin, you had some other thoughts you wanted to share.
Actually, I was going to talk about true fans. So you hit exactly what I was going to say. We have previous episodes. If you don't know what true fans are, we've covered this in multiple episodes on the podcast. So check out our previous episodes. You only need 100 true fans to be successful. So if you're looking to monetize this, or you're looking to try to make money, you got to take it step by step. First, you need to cultivate that loyal, dedicated viewership, and you do that, and you can do that through Facebook gaming. So you're exactly right, AWOL. I think we're good here. I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. If you guys like Facebook gaming topics, though, let us know in the chat, because we'll definitely hit more of this if you guys like it.
Absolutely. And everybody out there, be sure to sign up for a Poop Butt account today and get ahead of the curve with Poop Butt trademark right here on the Digital Drop Podcast. We'll see you next week. Stream over the weekend, restream everywhere, and experiment till you find what works, and then double the hell down. Start broadcasting, start growing. Let's go. Bye-bye.